Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Not sure why, but I am. So if you like it, see me there, and please tell your friends. Thanks very much. Bye. Hi guys, and welcome to the second part of my review of the Kill Team Corebook. Hopefully I'm going to be able to afford to get me the new Kill Team book with the characters in it to review that soon, but right now I'm just reviewing the core book. Well, not just reviewing, I'm still reviewing the core book. And we're on to the fighting battles and advanced rules stage at the moment. Basically, it's got some rules here on how you fight the basic battle, the mission, the kill team, the battlefield. It assumes a 30-inch by 22-inch battlefield, which is nice to know. I advise you on kill zone expansions, on the scouting phase deployment. Then it goes on to the first mission, which is open play. There are several types of play in this mission. In this book, but the main type a lot of people are going to be playing is open play. Although I can see Kill Team being much more effective for narrative play than its big brother 40k. You can see there, yeah, they have a basic layout which all the missions are laid out in, which tells you what your kill teams are, what the battlefield is. If you have or if you don't have a scouting phase, it tells you what the deployment is, the length of the battle is. For covert war, it's 5 rounds, and what the victory conditions are, including having a little victory table there for D3 victory conditions to help you randomize it. It then goes on to several of the advanced rules, which are things like terrain, climbing, falling, and things like that. Climbing and falling is probably going to play a much more important part in this game than it would do in 40k, because you're going to be much more mobile and you're going to have individual troops moving through much more sinewy, intense areas. Whereas before, you could leave them, you could maneuver some troops around and not worry about it. Each model matters. So if he's up high, you're going to have to get him down low, and you're going to have to deal with how you're going to do that. Moves on to kill zones. Here it's using the Sector Imperialis. It's telling you about the kill zones, roughly what size they want to be. Oh, sorry. Roughly how big they're going to be, and how to use GW products. It's worth noting at this point that they're saying 22 inches by 30 inches because that's the kill zone you're given in the box set. But a lot of the game boards are going to be 24 inches by 24 inches because they're going to be 4 foot long squares wide, because that's how a lot of them work. Or they're going to be the huge 24-inch boards, so you have 2 foot boards that you get with things like the Sector Imperialis and that. Not the Sector Imperialis, the battle boards, because those are what GW already sells. So you're going to have to figure out how to adapt your product that you already own and that you may have paid a significant amount of money for into Kill Team. But in all fairness, it won't be that hard. You know, jumpers, goalposts, ton of stuff. You know, have a couple of trees around the corners and just use what you've got. Should be fairly simple, really. It's here it's advising you about how to use the Sector Imperialis. Broken scenery, it's advising you about various environmental things you can use, desert habs, abandoned munitions, traps, and things that affect your game. Kill Team is going to go, Kill Team, yeah, is going to go into much more detail with scenery and stuff than you'd expect from its big brother, but that's kind of the point of it. The next stage of the game is missions. It basically describes several missions and how those missions work. It explains the scouting phase. It explains the different types: your open play, your match play, and your narrative play. Match play is when you have equal teams. Open play is when you have pretty much whatever you want and you work it out to be what you like. Narrative, narrative play is going to be when it's more about the telling stories, when it's stuff like that. I can see open play and narrative play being very similar, but and I can see matched play probably being the one we're going to fall back on quite a lot because it's the point-based one. I know I said open play earlier, I meant match play because I'm in Egypt. But yeah, I can see match play being the one that everybody plays as a fair game, and then narrative play being the one that everyone plays for more fun. Open play, open play is you just play how you like. You get a simple mission, you get started, and you rock and roll. Sorry. The scout missions are quite interesting. It does have a certain level of rock, paper, scissors in that there are certain scout missions you can pick. Basically, in this book, and there'll probably be more on scout missions when they expand. In this book, there's a certain level of... there's a certain number. There's 6 different scouting missions you can choose in the scout phase. However, at least 2 of those missions purely counteract 2 of the other missions. Where are we? Eliminate sentries. Once kill teams are set up, blah, blah, blah. 20% of the models of your kill team. Yeah. You can take an extra shooting attack, but you have to attack people... eliminate sentries allows you to take extra shooting attacks, basically against people who took forward positions. So it's meant as a countermeasure to forward positions. You've got number 2 is plant traps, which allows you to plant traps. And number 3 being disarm traps, which allows you to disarm the traps the enemy has planted. So there is a certain, as I say, there is a certain tactical and outthink your opponent. Is he going to plant traps? What is going to cause me problems? If he steals the march from me and gets his troops forward, is that going to really cause me problems? Okay, I can take something to prevent that. This may sound like a little less fun because you've got fewer options, because some of them are, as I say, specifically countering others. But really, it's very tactical, actually. It's adding a tactical layer to the game, which is very nice. In that, if you take disarm traps and there are no traps, you've wasted it. But at the same time, if your strategy is dependent on being able to move quickly through a certain area and you don't want traps, you're guaranteeing your strategy is going to have... well, not guaranteeing it's going to work, but you're ensuring that your strategy is going to be able to roll forward in a much more how you want it to. Now, it then goes to the enemy missions. Again, you can see there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. They're all done in a standard layout, which allows you to run. Where are we? The open play missions are aerial strike, search and rescue, and lines of battle. You've got some of your narrative missions, which are, frankly, the ones I'm looking forward to playing a lot more. Yeah, you've got 4 narrative missions in the book. And again, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 match play missions. So with different opponents and different layouts and 4 of each type of mission, you've got a hell of a lot of combinations you can make before you start finding yourself playing the same game, which is quite good. Also, it's got a lot of stuff on how to build missions and how the missions work, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to balance those missions. Next, it moves on to probably the biggest section, the kill teams. I'm going to flick through this one. I've already actually read it myself. I'm going to go through the basics, but I'm going to go through all the stuff, but I'm going to flick through the units because it's very much the same, and if I spend too much time discussing the tactical variants of each unit, I'll be here forever, and frankly, any opinion I give is going to be so-so on units that aren't Space Marines. I like Space Marines, I've played Space Marines, I couldn't tell you the tactical viability of a Gene Stealer against a Space Marine in anything more than a theoretical level, because whilst I played against Gene Stealers, my point of view is not going to be anywhere near as valid as that of somebody who plays Gene Stealers. They're going to be able to tell you, oh no, these units have these things, and these units are going to work well with other units. Oh, sorry. Obviously, it discusses open play, matched play, narratives. It also discusses battle-forged kill teams. If your kill team is battle-forged, I'll just go through what that means. Your kill team must consist of at least 3 models and no more than 20. Your kill team must include 1 and only 1 leader. Your kill team can include 3 other specialists. Your kill team cannot include more than the maximum of any particular model detailed on its datasheet. All models must share the faction keyword. Your kill team cannot cost more than 100 points. Each model and their pieces of war gear. Each model and their pieces of war gear has an associate points cost as detailed in the points section for each faction. The total cost of your kill team is referred to as your force. It discusses narrative play, and it discusses what you can do and how narrative play, not narrative, it discovers Battleforged and how that gives you advantages. Match play uses Battleforged kill teams. These are the rules for constructing it. Open play doesn't use Battleforged kill teams. Narrative play is limited by your imagination. As I say, whilst I'm looking forward to getting quite a lot of matched play games in, and maybe a few open play games in just for rules testing probably, narrative is the one that's got me quite excited. I mean, with this one, you can much more run ambushes, you can much more run different win conditions. I'm thinking it's going to be a lot of fun. It runs through data cards and what they do. Then it goes through command points and tactics. Basically, you start with a set number of command points, and every turn you generate command points, and those command points can be used on several things, including including general tactics, which are available to everybody. Specific tactics, which are available to specialists. It goes through the specialists here. There are several specialists. Each specialist gets an ability based on his level and his level of advances as you play through a campaign. You know, you've got 3 levels for each, so there's not a lot of stuff for everyone to get, but as you go through a campaign, as people get injured, as people die, as you use new things and advance depending on how your campaign works, you can then decide what you do. Each of these specialist tactics also have a command point cost, so you do have to be wary with your command points that yes, you're generating them every turn, but there's always going to be more things to spend command points on than there are command points. So really, it's going to be a scarce resource you're going to have to ration and work on. Yeah, your first time specialist is your leader. Does what it says on the tin. They have tactical advantages based on leadership. They have things based on leadership. Also, and then with your leader, you get resourceful. As long as your model is on the battlefield and not shaken, get an additional command point at the beginning of each battle. Then you can choose to go for bold or inspiring, and then you can choose to go for paragon or tyrant if you took bold, tactician or mentor if you took inspiring. Each specialist has this tree of growth which adds in addition to its tactics, making each specialist unique and each specialist better, again giving for a huge amount of replayability and a huge amount of diversity. You've got your combat specialist with your combat tree, starting off with expert fighter, and then which add 1 to this model's attack characteristic, and then moving on, warrior, adept, death blow, combat master, and other things. Similar with the comms specialist, each having his own 3 guys and adaptions. You've got your demolition specialist who does explosives, as you might expect. Your heavy specialist, which is one that I don't have access to playing Primaris at the moment. I'm hoping that in one of the expansions they'll bring in the plasma guys possibly my my heavy Gravis boys, but I kind of think that might be overkill. I'm not sure. You got your medic specialists, as always. Don't forget the healer. Your scout specialists and your sniper specialist. On each of your and you got your veteran specialist and your zealot specialist. Not everyone has access to all the specialists. On each of your individual things, it will tell you what you can go through. Now, you've got multiple types of troops, and I'm not going to go through them all in any detail, but each type of troop comes with a bunch of randomized tables, which are almost all flavour. Oath of the Moment, Shock and Awe, for example. You roll a d10 and pick your Oath of the Moment. The first one being Shock and Awe. The enemy must not just be defeated, but scatter the four winds, sent fleeing in minus terror before the Emperor's wrath. It doesn't actually say what specific rules-wise that means, and it doesn't have a specific rules things. It's about what you've got to try and do, and it's very much about the narrative and the imaginary idea. You've got a heroic background, a squad quirk or codex emphasis. Then you've got specialist honours. You've got names, name generators for different factions, and loads of other cool things like that. You've then got specific, you've had general tactics, specialist specific tactics, and then you have army specific tactics. These are specific to Adeptus Astartes. I don't know why. I started mispronouncing that as a kid, and it comes back every now and then. Like when I was 8 years old, I read it as the Horus Heresy. I'm not sure who Horus was, but I was quickly corrected to the Horus Heresy, which sounds a lot more cooler. Each army comes with these little stats, which tells you what you can pick. Most armies at the moment have 4 options. Each option tells you the stats of the option, what war gear they can take, and what specialists they can take. Then it goes to the costs of each of those guys and the various weapons they can take. Second faction is Death Watch, which is all the same cool stuff. You've got Grey Knights and so on and so forth. You know, Astra Militarum, Adeptus Mechanicus, with your Sixtari. Your Heretic Astartes, which is going to be one people are playing quite a lot from what I understand. Your Death Guard, because they just brought out the beautiful models. Yeah, your Thousand Suns. Just going to flip back. There's a fantastic piece of art there. I mean, that is just gorgeous. It really looks unpleasant and gross, which is what Death Guard are. You know, you've got your thousand again. Each faction pretty much comes with a mini poster. I'm not sure I'd have the brass to rip them out of the book. I just don't know if I'd be able to damage a book. I don't know, some sort of weird thing for books. You've got your Azurini with your vague guys. Again, 4 guys. Your Drukhari, which are your Dark Eldar. Again with 4 guys. Your Harlequins have their own one. Necrons have their own one. Orcs, of course. And orc is an orc, of course. And no one can talk to an orc, of course. The Tau Empire, for those amongst you who are bad people, down to their very soul. The rumour was that Ed Miliband plays Taos. Says a lot about Labour. I just wonder, I'm actually a Labour supporter, and even I'm looking at going, Ed Miliband plays Taos. Oh dear. I say I'm a Labour supporter. Yeah. Your Tyranids. I'm a Labour-ish supporter. Your Gene Stealer cult, which I know a lot of us are happy to see, particularly with the stuff that Gene Stealer's got in the previous versions of Death Watch and that. And then at the back of the book, there's a lot of art and a lot of inspirational stuff, some beautiful pictures and some beautiful paintwork to give you an idea what kind of boards they're playing with and to give you an idea how it works. Every picture is either a beautiful quilting or is telling you a story. And frankly, they're all really good. I mean, it's worth half the price of the book for the art alone. Then it runs through quilting campaigns, missions, and how that works with campaigns. You know, consequences of battles, you know, if people die, how you gain experience and what that experience does. You've got extra things you can add, like adding to the movement. Yeah, and then your copyrightable stuff, photocopyable stuff. They use for this permission to photocopy for personal use only by Games Workshop. They're mighty generous. I'm pretty sure if you go on their website, there'll be Kill Team rosters you can print out if you don't want to photocopy. And then at the back, as always, a nice quick reference sheet so you don't have to go thumbing through the entire book of 4 rules. That's been my entire review of the Kill Team core manual. Told you guys it was going to be a damn size shorter than the Space Wolf one. Possibly because there's a lot less fluff in this one and a lot less to analyse until I've really played the game. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.